Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula for SimonsSTM.com. Welcome back for another Yippee for Yana episode. In this video, I'm sharing a Gatefold Vellum card. I have been on a roll lately, loving all sorts of funfold card designs. I don't know why I resisted for such a long time, and I have not given these types of card a try before, but now that I have, I'm absolutely addicted and I cannot stop making them. I'm thrilled you loved my previous video where I shared the unique fold card design you need to try. I was reading the comments and I absolutely loved all of your name suggestions. And for this video, I wanted to continue this theme and do some more fun fold card making for you. I wanted to do a see-through card design, but I wanted it to not be completely see-through like I did in my previous video where I used acetate. So to have a semi-see-through design, I used Vellum. I haven't used Vellum in a long time, and it was refreshing to give it a try. Now let's take a look at the products we will be using for this project. In this video, I have a beautiful Blooms of Encouragement stamp set from Simons Stamp. This is a larger 6x8 set with beautiful floral clusters that are just begging to be colored. Those are beautifully illustrated, nice big blooms with a lot of room for coloring. I will also be using the coordinating die to cut these out, and coordinating dies are essential. And what I'm trying to say is you can use other sets you potentially have in your stash, but whichever set you choose, make sure there is a coordinating die, because using a coordinating die with your stamped image and cutting that image out using the coordinating die will make your life so much easier. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you how I stamped the images and how I did some of the coloring. I'm not going to focus too much on that part because I wanted to pay more attention in this video on the card construction. I've shared lots of coloring tutorials in the past and you can check those out. Or if you really would like to see a detailed coloring tutorial with this set or, other sets, let me know in the comments. And well, maybe that's something that I do for my next video. I went ahead and I stamped one of the clusters. If you are using this exact stamp set, and if you are recreating this card, you will need to stamp two of those. So two clusters, like these corner clusters, and then one more image of that beautiful oval floral frame. I stamped mine using the Clair Nocturne ink on Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and then I heat embossed those images with clear embossing powder. The reason I did that, I wanted to color these with Copic markers, and I wanted to have a really nice black outline to my images. And I wanted to make sure I would be able to confidently color without any issues. To do the coloring, I selected alcohol markers. I went with my go-to colors for the coloring, but I altered them slightly. So here I first applied YG03, which is probably my most used green. But then I'm going over this color with YG99, YG95, and YG93. Those are more yellow-green colors, but they're very dark. And by bringing the YG03, I added more freshness, more green color. I guess that's what I'm trying to say to this color combination. Had I skipped the YG03, this would not have looked as bright. Not that it does look bright, it does look a bit dull, and this color has a lot of gray in it, but by bringing the YG03, I was still able to make it a little bit more cheerful. Next, to color the little flowers, I'm using yellow. I have Y19, and I'm also using Y00, just two colors. I basically flicked the Y19 and now I'm using Y00 to blend or extend that color further into the petals. I'm using E79 to color the flower centers of the yellow flowers, and also using this exact same marker color to color the center of that large flower. With that coloring done, I will later come in with a Jelly Roll pen, a white pen, and add white dots to create texture and interesting detail inside the flower center. Now to color the petals, I'm using pinks. And again, these are my go-to pinks. It's like my go-to pink color combination. I'm starting with the RV14 and flicking the color at the base of the petal and also at the tip of the petal, trying to imagine where the folds in the petals are. I'm adding this darker color. This is not really my darkest. I will come in with some darker colors later, but for now I'm using this color to identify the darkest areas and the shadows. Next, using RV13. This is basically my medium color, and I'm using this color and my marker to extend the color further down into the petal. Finally, using RV11, and I'm using this marker to go over pretty much the entire petal area, but I am skipping some sections, leaving some areas white. Then these white areas create highlights. To add shadows, to deepen those shadows, to add a visual separation between the petals, I'm using a very dark color. This is RV09, and I'm adding this again to the base of the petals where I think this color is going to be darkest, to the folds of the petals, and even sometimes to the tips of the petals. I'm only going to show you how I color one petal, but take these tips, take these colors, and you can color your entire flower. In some areas, I also used R27, which is a red color. Remember, before we were using pinks, now I'm using red to change the shade of pink a little bit and add a little bit more redness to this flower. Next, we also have this sideways half open flower, and I'm going to color this using the exact same markers, but I'm going to introduce a little bit of pale yellow to make this a warm yellow orangey pink. So starting with the same colors, RV14, RV13, and RV11, I'm going quickly over this flower because I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just applying the color in the exact same way I was applying the color before to that petal that I just showed you. And with that done, I'm coming in with the Y00. You can notice that I did not exactly color the tips of the petals on this flower. I left those white. And to color that white area, I'm coming in with the Y00. I'm going over those white sections with the pale yellow marker, but I'm also extending that marker further down into the petals, creating a little bit of orange. I love to do this. I love to combine pink and yellow markers to have beautiful orange shades whenever I color. I don't have a lot of orange markers, so I have kind of learned to use what I have, and this is my way of creating the perfect shade of orange for my coloring. There's also one more flower, like a sideways bud, and I'm coloring it again in the exact same way, using exact same colors as I did before, but I'm going to make this more of an orange, a more warmer orange flower by bringing the Y19 marker and going pretty much over the entire area with that marker. So here's a look at the clusters that I have stamped, colored, and cut out using the coordinating dies. You can see that I have the 2 smaller clusters and 1 larger cluster. Again, all of these were colored using the same marker colors that I just showed you and using the exact same tips and techniques that I just demonstrated. I'm not showing you the entire coloring process because I don't want this video to be very long, and besides, like I mentioned, I want this video to focus on something else, on a fun fold technique. I have cut these images out using the coordinating dies, and I also die cut additional blank panels, or I created additional blank die cuts from white cardstock. Now, if you're not new to die cutting, you know that when you die cut, the back of your die cut has a bit of a sharp edge. The front looks like it has like a beveled edge, but the back has a little bit of a sharp edge. You can flatten that edge in your die cutting machine by running the die cut through your machine using the embossing sandwich. I sometimes do this. I should probably do this more often, and I remembered to do it in this video. So here I have my Platinum 6 die cutting and embossing machine, and I'm creating the sandwich for embossing with your dies. You can follow the instructions on the base platform for your platinum, or if you are using a different die cutting machine, you just need to find a sandwich for embossing with dies. I was using an embossing mat and an adapter plate, and take a look. It flattened my die cut a little bit. It's not completely perfectly flat, but it did flatten it just a teeny tiny bit, enough to prevent my die cut images from having that sharp edge. With all the parts and pieces ready, we can start building our card. Here I have 2 card bases. Both are A2 4¼ by 5½ inches. One is created from Vellum. Tell me, when was the last time you used Vellum to create a card base? I bet a very long time ago. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And then I also have one more card base, again 4¼ by 5½ inches, created from regular cardstock. This is Seafoam cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. Absolutely love this color. Somehow I find it the most perfect color for spring and summer. Now, like I mentioned, both of these cards are 4¼ by 5½ inches. I'm using my paper trimmer and giving the cardstock card base a bit of a haircut. Not a lot. You can see how much I've trimmed there, but you do need to give it a bit of a haircut and cut a little bit of that cardstock off. The reason we do this is because the cardstock card base is going to go inside the Vellum card base, and to make sure none of the cardstock is sticking out, we're giving it that haircut. Now, you might think, well, Vellum is tricky to adhere, and you are absolutely correct. I usually stay away from Vellum because, well, I have a hard time sticking it down onto my projects without the adhesive showing. But in this case, I'm going to add a panel of double-sided adhesive to the back of the cardstock card base. So I'm covering the entire back of the card base with a double-sided adhesive sheet. Doesn't matter which brand you use, just find nice double-sided adhesive sheet, stick it onto the back of your cardstock card base. If you have any extra adhesive sticking from the sides, make sure to trim that. I'm now using my paper trimmer and removing the extra adhesive. And with that done, I'm going to remove the liner sheet and use that adhesive to adhere my cardstock card base onto the Vellum card base. This way, the cardstock is going to be adhered onto the Vellum, but no adhesive is going to be visible. For me, this is probably the best mess-free way to adhere Vellum onto my project. And here, you can see how easy it is to stick it down. You can use a bone folder if you want to burnish your Vellum. Make sure it really sticks down, and voila, you have a fun gatefold card, one section of which is created using Vellum. Very, very cool. You could potentially do the same with a clear card base and also use a full adhesive sheet to adhere the clear card base onto your cardstock card base, but I have not tried that yet. Maybe that's something I try next. So here I have my parts and pieces. I have prepared everything out, and I'm going to start planning my card. So the large floral cluster, the one with the oval frame, is going to go onto the second flap, and it's going to be covered by the Vellum flap. The reason I wanted the Vellum flap there is because this was starting to look a little bit too busy when I was using acetate, and I wanted to tone things down a little bit, to mute things down a little bit, and I know that I can always do that with Vellum. So here I have my Vellum flap, and I'm just going to use glue and adhere the beautiful die cut onto the cardstock card base, or the second flap. And remember, you can do this with other supplies you have in your stash, with other stamps, with other images. You can do this with die cuts, with stenciled images, with stamped and colored images, whatever works best for you. Now, I have also created a sentiment. This card is going to have several sentiments, one on the front flap, the second one on this second flap, and you can even add an additional sentiment on the inside of the card, although I reserved that area for my message. Here I have the sentiment. This sentiment reads, "Flourish like the flower after the storm." And I did something controversial. I used foam adhesive to foam mount this in place. I wanted to add a little bit of dimension, and that's not something that I do, or not something that you would do probably for the second flap of your card, because this kind of adds a little bit of bulk. But I really like dimension. I like using foam adhesive because this helps separate images and bring them to life. I'm also using embellishments from Simon Says Stamp. I decided I needed to add a couple of embellishments to this card, a couple of beautiful drops, and I used these splash drops in clear, and I just added a couple here and there to add interest. Next, I'm planning the placement of the other clusters, and at this point, I'm just deciding how I want them oriented on my panel. I'm using a pencil and a T-square ruler, and I'm marking the edge of die cut. I'm going to use my paper trimmer and give this a nice clean cut. You could cut this with your scissors after you've adhered your die cut onto your card base, but I just wanted this to have a nicer and cleaner cut. And I also did not want to run the risk of accidentally cutting through the fold of my card because, well, that can also happen. So I used a paper trimmer. I'm also trimming one more die cut, one of those blank die cuts in the same way, but I'm trimming them slightly more because I know that this white die cut is going to go on the inside of my card and it's going to be right next to the fold, and I don't want it to interfere with the fold. So that's why that cut there, that trim there was a little bit bigger. I added another layer of cardstock. So I die cut another blank piece. I glued that from the back of my colored die cut, and I added thin foam adhesive squares from Simon Says Stamp to the back of this cluster. Again, I wanted to add dimension. I wanted to pop things up, so I'm using thin foam adhesive squares and going to foam mount this onto my vellum flap from the left-hand side. To hide that adhesive, I'm using that other die cut that I created and trimmed, and I'm adhering that in place with the help of a tape runner. I would advise you to stay away from glue when you work with vellum because glue can warp your vellum, and that's really not something that you want to happen when you're making a card like this. So stick to dry adhesive, double-sided tape, foam squares, a tape runner, but maybe avoid using glue when gluing things down directly onto the vellum. I now have the second floral image, and I once again measured it. I trimmed it using my paper trimmer. I foam mounted this onto my vellum flap, and I'm adding the white cardstock from the inside to hide the adhesive. Finally, using my scissors and going to trim the excess cardstock off. I also have one more sentiment that is going on the front of my card, and this one reads, "Thinking of You." Now, I use the Simon Says Stamp and Kathy Z slanted rectangles coordinating die to cut a slanted rectangle for this sentiment. So that slanted rectangle die, it is not a coordinating die for this Thinking of You. Instead, I just used that die because I wanted to have a different shape housing my sentiment, and I wanted that shape to be larger so that it would cover more of that sentiment that I have stamped in the center. Just a little something different. You can definitely use the coordinating die for the Thinking of You and cut it out and then use that and foam mount over your images on the front of your card. But like I said, I wanted to have a slightly larger sentiment. I didn't want to use a larger sentiment, so instead I just used a larger panel for that sentiment. And here's a look at the finished card. Love the way it's turned out. We have the two unique flaps and we have a beautiful floral card. By the way, there's one leaf that I have kind of forgot to color, and I wonder if you spotted that leaf on my card. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you again next time.
Hi, I'm Heidi, founder of SimonSaysStamp.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.